So do we want to talk about the 49ers now and
Yeah.
4-6?
Yeah, man. So Guy, like honestly, right now, right, with this bye week, right, and we have a lot of time to reflect on this last Saints loss. Have a lot of time to think about what is the future of this team, and the big question is probably coming down the line in the comments. You know exactly what that is. The question that you've probably been asked a million times, the same question that we've been asked about the quarterback situation. But like honestly, this loss, right? For me, I didn't expect the 49ers to win this game, right? I was on record saying I don't think they're going to win this game. It's hard to win games when you have backup after backup after backup, right? I think that a lot of blame was thrown at Kyle Shanahan in this game, and I'm not necessarily understanding it, because it's almost like people forget. Andrew and I text during the game all the time. It's almost like people forget. There's a reason some of these guys are backups. They're backups because they can't execute as well as the actual players that should be there. So when things go wrong, to blame coaching seems a little bit short-sighted. If you want to nitpick play calls, that's fine, but you're leaving out the nuance of how they got to that play and what could be next. So, just give me a little bit of your thoughts as to like where the team is right now at this point, going into the bye week and what they should be really thinking about realistically going forward.
Yeah. So first and foremost, as it relates to Kyle, I agree with you. I think he's an elite coach. I decided he was an elite coach. I am always open to changing my mind, but it's going to take more than this year to change my mind that Kyle Shanahan's an elite coach. So we can argue about should he done this or should he done that, whatever, all day long. But to me, the bar is I think that he's an elite coach. I don't know for sure that it's going to translate to what it translates to with elite, because elite coaches over 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, they win a whole lot more than they lose. And right now, the Niners have not done that. Now, I think all of us that have watched all of their games under Kyle Shanahan and the games that came before and the games that came before and know what this has looked like, can look like, understand the context of why his record is under 500, but career. But I think he's an elite coach. So full stop. Like, that's what I think about him. Okay. So is it fair to criticize him? Absolutely. The other part of it is he's in charge of personnel. Like, he is the final say when it comes to personnel. So we can get into, should he have scouted Patrick Mahomes? Should he have considered that? Should he have, should they as a team, I shouldn't say he, because even though he's the final authority, this team does have a really good collective as a front office, but D Ford, Quan Alexander, right? Like, the list was McGlinchey the right pick? There were another tackle went right after him. And we'll see in the coming months. They got so many decisions to make. Now, no one's 100%. I remember hearing Trent Baalke say that Ron Wolf once told him that it's basically you're trying to hit 500 in the draft, and they've nailed picks, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at Matt. But because Matt got Joe last night, and we got Guy. So I mean, it's just like
in Jason's defense, he tried to get me for next week because he was.
I did.
Let's not. It's a bad look if we try to back up Joe Staley with Guy. But then I couldn't do next week, so here we are. Yeah. And next week, Thanksgiving Eve, maybe you can get Joe.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. But continue, man. I'm sorry, Guy.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think that it's true that we should talk about, like, who's going to be here next year. Like, I think that all that needs to be discussed at this point, because there's a mass exodus, I feel like, that's about to happen with this team, just based on what the salary cap's going to look like. And it just boils down to a numbers game. Like, You can't pay everyone. So.
And the free agents are, now obviously you want to give Trent Williams an extension.
Yes.
You want to give Fred Warner an extension because his last year of the contract's coming up. Juszczyk, Tart, K1 Williams, Bourne, Blair, Verrett, DJ Jones,
Kerry Hyder.
Get Kerry Hyder back on the 49ers.
Yes.
But somebody might watch Kerry Hyder and go, I want to pay him twice what the Niners are offering him. I don't know.
See, that's what's scary. And that's what's scary for me about Verrett and Hyder. And yeah, like with Verrett and Hyder, at least Mosley's restricted, so we have a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to that. I think Sherman's not going to be on this team next year unless he wants to take a super team friendly deal. But I think you kind of touched on a really good point about Hyder and Verrett. If they continue to play well, they may be pricing themselves out of town, at this point, when someone else that goes and says, you know what, Kerry Hyder, we slept on you last offseason. We're ready to give you the bag this season. And Jason Verrett, you know, we didn't want to take a shot on you then, but hey, here's a bunch of money for you to play for us now. You know, you just got to hope that those guys want to come back.
Yeah, which means you gotta hope they want to come back. Which NFL players, and I don't blame them for a second. This isn't. It's you got to get your money. If you're Jason Verrett, of course you're getting your money, right? So I don't.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's the way this league works. You hope that you'd won a championship before you had to do this. This year was okay. You almost won a title. You try and run it. I mean, obviously you try and run it back. Whatever. You didn't have a choice anyway. But that's what you do. And now we're in the position where you go. Part of being good for a long time is turning your roster over and making. You don't get to live off 2 draft picks forever, and you don't get to live off. You nailed Richard Sherman when no one else was willing to do it, except whoever it was, the Lions or whatever. Fine, great. But you have to keep doing it. That's so. And when you say that, sometimes it sounds critical. It's just the reality of it. And if you're really good at your job, the best NFL teams consistently do it. So I think they'll do it. I think they can do it. Part of this has been, and it's absolutely fair to point out, just insane, just nuts, right? Like just one after the other.
Javon Kinlaw now on the COVID list with Eric Armstead. Like, thank God it's the bye week, but it's almost comical.
Yeah. There's not a word to even encapsulate how crazy it's been. So when we talk about like Shanahan, like we can talk about all these guys. I'm sorry, you can't win consistently with Nick Mullins. Just can't be the quarterback on your team if you're going to win consistently. And that's nobody. That's just the reality. We see it. If you're going to be in games now, if you're going to be in games where the margins aren't thin, okay, but the margins are thin in every game they play, right?